Hey friends, this morning let's talk about denial. And I'm not talking about the river. Denial is a powerful defense mechanism within us. It can keep us from dealing with our fears. It can protect us also from challenges. And I was reminded of that recently as I visited with a woman who was sharing with me that she believes the coronavirus is just a political smokescreen and that it's not real. And she explained to me that she knows no one who has gotten sick with the coronavirus. She knows no one who has died of the coronavirus. And she regularly runs all over the place to different stores and restaurants without a mask. And she hasn't gotten sick. She thinks the whole thing is a sham. And in fact, she felt something similar in regards to this racial injustice issue. She feels like there really isn't racial injustice. There's no such thing as white privilege. She thinks that all of this is just a political sparring match since we are in an election year. And I found myself wondering, how does a person live with that level of denial? I want to just point out a couple of things. First of all, I think that of the 9 Enneagram personality types, there are some types that are more prone to fear. A fear that's so overwhelming that denial might be a great guard against it, or a popular, not necessarily great, but a popular guard, a popular defense mechanism against deep fear. And so for those particular personality types, and type 6s, for example, are really prone to fear, it's important for them to go and seek out people that they can talk to and share those fears with, that they become ever more deeply aware of their own defense mechanisms against fear. That's really, really important. But then I also started thinking, what's another reason for someone to be like that ostrich with its head in the sand, living in denial? And I really think that sometimes for many of us, it's more of an ego thing. It's an ego mechanism to keep us from being challenged, to keep us from having to change and grow. So for example, if the coronavirus is real, then I have to make changes. I have a certain responsibility, not just toward myself, but toward other people. If racial injustice is real, and white privilege is real, and systemic racism is real, then I have to change. I have a personal responsibility to be part of bringing about healing and change. But to just live in denial is a defense mechanism for many people to keep them from having to enter into those conversations. And so, for example, with this particular woman, I even said to her, well, how are you entering into the conversation right now that's happening around racial injustice? And she just flat out said, I don't know about any conversation that's taking place about racial injustice. Okay, all right. When we are allowing our ego to be a defense mechanism against changing and growing and taking responsibility, we are invited, challenged to become ever more aware of that and to choose to push beyond it, to be vulnerable to how we might be impacting that circumstance, how we are being invited to be a part of a conversation. That's a hard thing when we don't even realize the conversation exists. I mean, that is a deep, deep level of denial. What are some other ways or causes, motives for living in denial, and how have you encountered denial around the pandemic or around racial injustice? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I hope you have an awesome day.